And it's live.
Hello and welcome on into another edition of Entertainment News here at MBE. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our co-host is John Christopher Walsh. John, you can come on the screen now, don't be shy. It's been a little while since we did a live stream, so I get we're going to be a little bit rusty tonight, and we're still trying to get used to this software that doesn't give you a count in. You're live like that, and you just got to be on it. But John, we're going to be talking about
mixing with my DJ headphones.
We're going to be talking about Oasis reportedly planning a 2027 tour and recording new songs. There's other pieces of news coming out from Oasis over the last couple of days, also including a documentary potentially coming to Netflix based on the 2025 tour, which I cannot wait to see. But before any of that, John, what have we got coming up first?
We've got the Batman and part 2 to be more precise, Stephen. It's got a new and dangerous update. To quote Anthony Lund of MovieWeb.com. Stephen, obviously this movie came out 2021.
Yeah.
20.
It's 2020, I think, yeah.
2021.
5-6 years ago. Yeah.
5-6 years ago. Well, now the best part of half a decade on from the Batman. And Stephen, I have to say, I really enjoyed the film at the time. I was buzzing in the build-up. Matt Reeves really get people excited with the initial announcement on Instagram. I think it was an image of Batman, the golden years or something. I think it was the very first early stories of the Batman. He was a distinctly different beast in those early stories. I don't think he'd developed the not kill policy or the no kill policy. I think he was a little bit more violent, and people were wondering the direction it would go. We knew it was going to be a younger, different kind of Batman, which was the yin to the yang of Ben Affleck. And what he was, this grizzled, older, veteran Bruce Wayne in an environment where he's cocky enough to try and take on a fucking superhero, because Batman's not a superhero. Come at me, bitches. I'll have that argument all day long. He's a hero. He's not a superhero. And they say that a hero will save us. I'm not going to stand here and wait. That's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's not going to stand here and wait. He'll use his technology. He'll use his vast wealth and his connections to do vigilantism on the streets of Gotham. Different, Stephen, in the build-up. We were excited, we got it, and we really enjoyed the film, Stephen. I don't want to speak for you, but I think you did enjoy it. I think we waxed lyrical. We got Gianni on the channel at the time. We rated it very highly. It was a stunning villainous performance from Paul Dano as well as the Riddler. And also we had Colin Farrell. And there is Oscar Cobblepot, or whatever the fuck he's called. I don't even know his first name. Just know it's fucking the penguin. What's he called?
That was a Goonies.
Yeah, I can't. Goonies
Joker.
It's Oswald. Is it Oswald? Oswald.
Like
it's not Oscar. I've just made him South American. He's not South American. He's a little sallow-faced Morlock creature. Not getting enough sunlight. Stephen, everything about it was different. It was fresh. It was unique. It was emo Batman. It was a sort of mobster, hardman penguin, which I hadn't seen before personally. I'd seen the little scrawny, annoying penguin from the Gotham show, and I'd seen the Danny DeVito stuff, where it was almost campy fucking comic book, right from the pages of the graphic novel stuff. It did something different, even circus, this SAS, XSES sort of... I am fucking blanking his name, Alfred. I was about to call him Pennywise again. Jesus Christ, don't do that. Pennybuff. So it was different, Steve. Really enjoyed it. Never in a million years back then did I think we'd be waiting so long for a sequel. I know Matt Reeves came out not long after and says, I'm going to take a break. It was really taxing. There was rumours that he didn't get on with Robert Pattinson, that there was fighting, and he was never going to work with him again. There was rumours that Robert Pattinson get Zoe Kravitz pregnant. There's all sorts of fucking nonsense going on and suckling. And obviously the usual channels are like piranhas to blood in the water, getting after it. Now we're getting updates, Stephen. We've got casting confirmations. We've got casting rumours as early or as recent as last night, which we'll get into. But shall I bring this up? I've been talking a lot What is your thought, Stephen, on the Batman Part 2? Did you think it would take this long
John,
to come
it's
to
not
an
like
update and get some traction?
yeah, but it's not like the old days. You know, I can say that now because I'm nearly 50. But it's not like the old days when you're expecting a sequel within the first 2 or 3 years of the original film. That was the old format, and that's long gone now. I think in terms of the MCU, and what they planned out for those first 3 phases, it's all about just laying the groundwork and then taking your time, making sure that the story's there, making sure that obviously there's a coherent storyline as a follow-up. And these things don't have to be rushed. You have to bear in mind in the real world, a lot was happening with Warner Brothers, DC, etc., with James Gunn, etc., coming on board and real landscape and the whole thing as well. And there was maybe perhaps fear and doubt amongst the fans that perhaps maybe there wasn't going to be a sequel to the Batman, and maybe those sort of fears were perhaps maybe in the head of the likes of Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson as well. I don't know, but I think we're in an age where we don't have to really expect a sequel 2 years on or anything like that. There's so much going on. I think perhaps maybe Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one, the sequel to that, I think was too soon. They couldn't wait to put that one, out.
Unnecessary.
And it was unnecessary. That's the point, John.
Yeah.
And if they've got a story for the Batman 2, which, I mean, you mine off multitudes of source material, you've got it there, and you pick the best story to fit this iteration of Batman. I think Robert Pattinson was pretty good. I think, John, we like his independent films, away from obviously the big franchises. I know you obviously liked him, perhaps maybe in Harry Potter and stuff like that, but
yeah, he was a small role in that, though.
I think he shines, though, doesn't he? He really shines in independent films, whether it be with the likes of Eggers or whoever, and you can see the talent within him. And I think in some ways, the first Batman film, the Batman film, felt like an independent film rather than a big blockbuster film. I don't know if you got that vibe, John, but I just think the way it was set, and the way that it was tonally set, and the casting as well. I thought that I don't think there was any weaknesses in terms of the cast. I think it was a very strong cast that they put into that first film. So
yeah, I mean, even
Barry Keoghan's part was obviously removed from it. So that I think in terms of Matt Reeves, I've got all the faith, that he will come out with a really good sequel, and just bring it out when it's ready to come out. I'm not in any hurry to see it. I want to see it, but I want to make sure it's a good film. I want to make sure that before it hits, the cinemas, that it's the right fit for this Batman franchise.
I still don't believe, Stephen, it will come out next year.
No,
not even began production. We're probably in pre-production because casting decisions are being made, but man, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it will come out next year. I'm just scarred from GTA and whatnot and the constant delays with that it's starting to seep into movie-related things now as well. And I've also been a fan of Star Wars over the years.
Yeah.
The constant booting the balls you get from Lucasfilm and Disney, pushing things back, completely cancelling things and not even releasing stuff to the press. So I don't trust any of this. Stephen, you can almost forgive Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson and maybe the other people involved in the creative process of a sequel to the Batman, because you've had so much upheaval at Warner Brothers, all the executive branch essentially been changed.
Yeah.
The obviously departure of Zack Snyder and having to come up with a new idea for a fresh cinematic universe with obviously Peter Safran and James Gunn.
Yeah.
And then they're having to storyboard a whole new array of characters and actors and dealing with that. There's so much going on, there's so much distractions happening. And Stephen, we've spoken about this in the past with the likes of Taika Waititi, talking about Star Wars. This film's still not out, by the way.
Yeah.
We were talking about that recently. You almost would want the director and the writers to acknowledge that there's not enough going on there in terms of story for them to do it at that point.
Yeah.
And they'll wait and be patient until they've come up with something that's worthy of the brand. I'd much rather that and them taking their time and it maybe taking 4, 5, 6 years, and then ultimately we get the best story, the best continuation of a character that the fans deserve, than them just rushing to churn out shite. Like you said, Stephen, Joker Folly I Do, not for me, not a great movie, nowhere near as good as the original. And even the original was getting comparisons to rip-offs of, what was it, the King of Comedy, the Martin Scorsese film.
Taxi
it was
Driver,
a Taxi Driver. So it didn't even get its flowers. Very brief period where it was getting praised. Then when it got all those nominations, people were immediately knives out, trying to take it down, was it Todd Phillips?
Yeah. Todd Phillips, yeah.
Todd Phillips. So that's the sort of other side of it. You can rush a sequel out. It doesn't feel necessary. We've seen it with obviously other franchises, Sony, Jumanji, putting shit out just because they can. Jumanji. You remember a guy, Alan Parrish? I always remember a young man that done the impersonations of Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
On YouTube. He also done an incredible Robin Williams. And I vividly remember him doing an Alan Parrish one. I can't remember the character's name, his girlfriend in it.
Yeah.
He goes back to her. It's 20 years later, it's your turn. I fucking loved that. That was brilliant. I forget his name. He was great, that guy. Gruberman or something like that. It's like a German sounding name.
Yeah.
But no, Stephen, look, I mean, we're well under the way of moving this movie into production now. I don't know how the timeline is going to be, but it was Mattson Tomlin, the co-writer. Obviously, I think he's writing it alongside Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is talking further down this article about where he's at with the story, and they're kind of echoing what I alluded to there. That look, it had to be compelling. There had to be a rationale for this film even existing. You just don't churn shite out because you can. When you're dealing with a high caliber actor like Robert Pattinson and an iconic character like Batman, you can take your time, especially when there is a new universe coming off the ground. And I enjoyed Superman. I like to look at Supergirl.
I think in terms of where they're at with the DCU, I'm quite happy with what they've got in store, and certainly those early indications for the Supergirl film looks very impressive, very confident as well, and where they're going in that direction with that character. But obviously going back to that original the Batman film, which is out with obviously the DCU at the moment. They're still not saying it's part of it. It's never going to be part of it, and maybe that's so. And I don't mind that at all. In terms of timelines, I'm not really sure where it sits anyway, but. John, you've got to remember, obviously, the Penguins series was out as well, which obviously, a lot of work went into that with Colin Farrell and the crew, and it's just building these sort of worlds within. And I like what they're doing. I like what Matt Reeves is doing with the world building in this Batman iteration. I think a lot of people didn't really like the gothic vibe, but I mean that's what Tim Burton did, to an extent, although it was more sort of sets that, that he was using interior sets for exterior, scenes, whereas this is all live locations, part of it was obviously filmed in Glasgow, and I just liked the aesthetics of that first movie. I liked what they did, obviously, in The Penguin as well, just to build that world out a little bit more. Give these characters a bit of breathing space as well. Give them a bit of time to develop in these TV series, it's worked well in the past for obviously the MCU with Disney Plus, and I can see it happening again with the DCU as well. But no, I'm looking forward to it, John. I think in terms of, I know that obviously we were talking before we came on about Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it does say, that it looks like Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman will not appear in the
second film. She'll not come back, I don't mind that, Stephen.
I don't really mind that. I mean, she was a big part of that first film, but if they've got a plan in place for, many sequels, then you don't have to shoehorn everyone from the original movie into every film. So I'm happy with the way things are on.
She's got a large presence as well as a character and an actress, and also there's that. Is it a romantic thing on and off with Batman and Catwoman? So you kind of put that to the side for a movie, then maybe come back and address it, and it's at the finale of the trilogy. And it can almost be like what Christopher Nolan explored, where she may even flip and be the a semi-villain, and then flip-flop. She's a very flip-floppy, wishy-washy character. She goes, yeah, exactly. She goes where the wind blows.
Yeah.
She's not really got morals, if you like. Not like Batman. Certainly had morals in this. At the end, when he was born again. At the beginning, he was all about vengeance. He was a very angry. I was about to call him a little boy, but he's not. He's fucking 6 foot. There's nothing small about Robert. He's a big boy. But yeah, Sebastian Stan, he may be headed for golf. From I heard it was confirmed. Bitches. This was back in January 6th, to be fair, so we're 11 days out, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he's in it. He's in talks to join. And I don't know what he would be. Would he be a villain in it? Because we've seen him playing the villain to an extent in The Winter Soldier. And fucking hell, he was impressive.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the guy getting his hair back out again. I don't know who he could even be playing. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to see obvious things like the fucking Killer Croc or something like that. I'd like to see, or Bane, I'd like to see something a little bit different.
Yeah.
In terms of, Nicolas Cage came out with one, I think it was Egg fucking Man or something. I'd like to see them doing something obscure. A kind of malevolent villainous character that no one's really heard of to this point. Just do something fresh. We did it with Batman. Obviously it was a Riddler. He's not fresh, but he didn't have a leotard. There was not a question mark in sight. At least not on his body. It was a fresh take. I'm looking for freshness. I'm looking for something different. But Stephen, that's a great cast and choice to bring Sebastian in. I can definitely visualise him in Gotham playing potentially a villainous character in Gotham. And Scarlet, I don't know what Scarlet's been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. Last time I seen it was Marriage Proposal or whatever the fuck it was. Was it
probably
Marriage Proposal? Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Marvel.
Suing Disney. That's why she's going over to Warner Brothers. She's burnt her bridges. I don't know what she's been up to. So I think she was in a movie recently because I seen her perhaps in the Round Table stuff.
Yeah,
so
she was magnificent in Marriage Story with Adam Driver. I really liked that film, John.
Yeah.
And you know, it reminds you just you just with the sort of Marvel thing with Scarlett Johansson, and you know, just it was a big part of her life for over a decade, and you forget she had such an illustrious career before she stepped into obviously that role with Marvel, you know, before it. And that film just reminded me, Marriage Story, that is, it reminded me just what a fantastic actor she is, and very compelling, and just that chemistry with Adam Driver, just on par in terms of their quality and their presence and their charisma on screen. You know, it was such an emotional film, you know, and that's the kind of films I like to see these actors in. But I'm very intrigued to find out, obviously, what Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson are doing in this film, because most of the established characters, the likes of Jim Gordon, etc., have already been placed in, you know, the first movie. So, as you said, that if we can go somewhere in the direction of perhaps maybe lesser known villains, I don't mind that, John. I think in terms of comic book fans, you know, when we went to what was the Suicide Squad film, the second one that came out, you had all these colourful characters.
David Asmalkian and
Polka Dot Man. Yeah, I mean, I think we're by the stage of, you know, we expect a Premier League villain coming in here, Joker, you know. But we talked about, John, maybe about a year ago, where we were saying when the Batman 2 finally comes out, we're hoping it's not Joker. Save him. We were thinking, we were thinking, Matt Reeves, is he doing a trilogy or not? You know, but I think, you know, it's never been confirmed, but I think this guy can maybe do multiple films with the Batman.
Oh, he could. Stephen Barry Keegan, they're saying he is also expected to appear once more in the Joker as a Joker. So, I mean, Stephen Keegan's a phenomenal actor. I know he became a little bit of a meme with Saltburn dancing about in the buff with his tackle out, but he is a fine actor, and I would expect him to do a blinding job as Joker. You think of, I always forget the name of this, I butcher it, Killing of a Sacred Deer, where he plays a psycho. I don't know if that is the film. He plays a psychopath and he's unnerving. So this guy would definitely do a brilliant job as Joker if they do continue on with him. It'd be interesting. It'd be a ballsy choice, Stephen, to almost replicate Chris Nolan, bring the Joker in the middle film of a trilogy. Obviously, if he continues on and you get into a sort of blockbuster finale with Riddler, Joker, there was a lot of talk that
That's right.
there was a specific comic book where they were almost fighting each other to be the guy to take on Batman. It almost became like a civil war of the villains.
Yeah.
So there's so much potential there. I don't know what Pattinson could be playing, but I'm all for him coming in. He's a sublime actor.
John,
enjoyed him in everything he's in.
It's weird, that Hollywood struggle with that concept, though. I think there was talk about the Sinister Six over at Marvel at one point. Coming in with the likes of Michael Keaton's character, etc. And it sounded great on paper, but they've never able to have that sort of ensemble of super villains, haven't they? Not,
No.
they can do it perhaps maybe with obviously the heroes, and and you've got your one villain, i.e. that'd be Thanos, with all his sort of henchmen, but you never have Thanos and Doctor Doom and all teaming up. You never get that, and I think that's we see it in the superheroes, but we never see it in the super villains, so it would be great. It'd be unique as well. It's something it's always talked about and something that the fans always hope for. So perhaps maybe Matt Reeves hopefully he's got something like that in the back of his mind for the final film or something like that, maybe 4 or 5 films in, it can have.
I'm just assuming it's a trilogy. Yeah, this could go on. Pattinson's young enough. To play this character for the next 10, 15 years if he wanted to. He's still in his late 30s. I think he's in his late 30s. This guy's got fucking years ahead as this character until he gets to the point where Ben Affleck was when he portrayed it. So if there's that desire to continue, he can play the long game with this character, 3, 4, 5 movies, and tell a really interesting story. That's something we've not seen done. Batman's usually a 1 or 2 movie effort, trilogy with Nolan, and then they move on to something different. So that'd be ballsy to try that. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yeah, Stephen, this year, that's interesting. I like that. I enjoy this kind of stuff. But there is a desire to keep things under wraps. In an era where information just flows like water, and it's immediately available on Reddit and other places, and TikTok, and you're getting leaks all over the place. People know what the fucking story is before they even go into the theatre. I respect a guy like Matt Reeves doing the whole Abrams mystery box thing, whatever he was calling it back in the day, where you go in and you're blind. I want that. That's what I'm all about. Even the promotion now, TV spot 15, fucking Budweiser recreations. Looking at you, Mandalorian and Grogu. There's a trailer dropped. Fucking hell. I've just no interest in it whatsoever. I respect that, the fact that they're dedicated to keeping it under wraps and obviously wowing people when the time comes, when it goes into theatres. Stephen, I'm just really looking forward to seeing Robert Pattinson back as Batman, but fundamentally I want to see more Andy Serkis as Alfred as well, because he had 2 real major scenes and he was really impactful. And Andy's a phenomenal actor as well. I've enjoyed that guy for years and years and years. So I want to see them just delving into that relationship more. There's so much potential. I mean, we've got an article here. Who could they be playing? I don't want to see Wayne Harvey Dent.
It's interesting that you bring Alfred into that, though, because I think that was perhaps maybe Zack Snyder's plan with your man. I'm blanking on his name, the English actor that played Alfred in the Ben Affleck one from
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons, sorry. And I think that you don't bring Jeremy Irons in just for bit part scenes, just to sort of have Bruce Wayne having someone to bounce off of. You don't get someone like him in, to do that. It was just like Michael Caine had a big part to play in obviously the Nolan trilogy, and that's what you expect from Andy Serkis's version of this as well. A big part, you're getting that sort of backstory in the first movie, giving indications of his backstory and where he's came from. That's, you want to really establish that maybe in the next film, what he's capable of. He's a younger Alfred as well, which I'm liking. He's not the traditional English butler. He's seen action. You got hints of that with obviously Alfred with Michael Caine's version of it. He talked about his past in the army and stuff like that. But if we can see Andy Serkis in action as well, that would be something fresh.
Yeah, it would. Steve, I'm just reading about this, Tommy Elliott, the potential characters that Sebastian Stan could play. I wouldn't want to see Harvey Dent. I'm kind of over that character. You had man, I blank on his name all the time, that played him in Dark Knight. He was brilliant. Obviously, Tommy Lee Jones. It's a joke of a film.
Yeah.
But he's
And then Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams, yeah, obviously. Yeah. So we've kind of done that character. But this guy here, I love this concept where it's a friend. It always takes me back to Spider-Man. I think it was 2 with Molina, Doc Ock. Or no, Green Goblin. It was the first one, wasn't it? Where his friend, it's obviously his father.
Yeah, Harry.
And there's that connection, the sort of personal side, and how that changes the dynamic of Batman and what he's got to do. And obviously, we spoke about it before with Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Good friends with, obviously, I'm blanking on his fucking name. Jesus Christ, how the fuck do you blank on Captain America's name? I have. Unbelievable. Steve, unbelievable, man. and obviously how that impacted his relationship with Bucky.
Yeah.
Him getting after him. He had a job to do as the hero, but then he also had the personal side. So I enjoy that aspect, and I think exploring that would be very, very cool. And again, it's what I'm alluding to, a relatively unknown villain coming in. So there's so many. Fucking Catman, fuck off. No chance. Catman. I don't want Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
There's so much potential. There really is. Stephen, we've spoken about this before with DC. They've got the best villains, man. They really have. It's a darker, different universe to Marvel. There's so much potential to be explored with Batman. And obviously this more detective side of Bruce as well, which we're going to, I'm sure, get into in the continuation of this story. There's so much potential. But Stephen, Tomlin, your man, co-writer, this is what I had to say. We worked exceptionally hard to tell a story worthy of the character, something that feels new and dangerous. The bar couldn't be higher. Looking forward to people seeing it and being able to talk about it at length. Can't begin to describe what this film means to me. He had that to say. Matt Reeves had this to say. He's Batman, so if he doesn't like it, not good. Talking about, obviously, Pattinson's reaction. It's fucking Pattinson, you lunatic. Don't need to be tripping me up at this time at night when I've been running about all day. Come on, don't do that to me. Fucking hell. It's not good, so I was super excited because I thought that he really would like it, because the things that it does for his character, for Batman and for Bruce, have never been done before in this way. I had a feeling he would respond in this way. The fact he did was incredibly encouraging, so that's good.
Yeah.
Pattinson's an established actor now, Steve, and he's got plenty of offers. He doesn't have to come back and portray this character. There must be something there that's enticing him back. And you're seeing the passion, you're seeing the excitement from the two writers. So that's good. That means there's a rationale, there's an organic story to be told.
Well, I think, yeah, exactly. That's it. It's the organic story. You know, and you got that in the first movie. You know, I think that's what Robert Pattinson's coming back for. You saw the journey. You know, you saw him coming from where he was to where he ended up, you know, at the end of that film. And, you know, we talked about it on a review all those years ago with Gianni, you know, about this being a traditional
22, by the way.
A detective, you know, movie, you know, right up to the last maybe 10 minutes when it became a comic book. I don't want to say superhero. He's not a superhero, comic book hero, you know. So I want to see that continuation. I want to see that journey, you know, and he's a reluctant hero. You know, this is the other thing about this character. You know, he's been put in this position through choices made in the first movie, you know, that he had to make, you know, and it's where we're going with that. You know, I don't know what the timeline is. I don't know what the time jump is into the second movie, but it's this reluctance to be the hero of Gotham.
Yeah, no. And Stephen, that's something we've seen with Batman before, where he's conflicted inside personally and also what he's doing. It feels an obligation to go out and stop criminals in the city, but he gets tired as well. Also becomes vengeful at times. And then you get the personal strife with the loss of loved ones and whatnot, as the character, I presume, in the comics is experienced. I can't fucking speak for that, but I'm sure you can. You've watched enough animated stuff.
Yeah.
We know he lost Rachel in the Nolan films.
She wasn't an original character. She was created for that trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it worked. It served its purpose, John. I think in terms of the Nolan one, you know, Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne wanted a normal life. You know, he wanted a symbol to carry on the good work of Batman, and they found that obviously in Harvey Dent by the second movie, so he could become, you know, a normal person and live a life with Rachel. You know, obviously didn't turn out that way. But that's what keeps the character grounded, isn't it? You know, we've seen it in very many iterations, right back to Michael Keaton's portrayal, you know, where he's conflicted of being the hero, but it's a reluctance. You know, he feels there's a debt to his mother and father, you know, who funded the city for so many years and brought it up to a standard, and he sees that decay within the city, you know, and that plays right through, you know, the Val Kilmer one, the George Clooney one, you know, with his credit card, and you know, the Batman, you know, but it just, you know, John, this is one of the things, you know, just talking about obviously the Joel Schumacher. I know it wasn't directly Joel Schumacher's fault. There was too much from the studios, etc. But you know, it's good to see this chap who's coming on. You can, you know, and talking about this sequel, you know, as one of the co-writers, you can clearly see he's got a passion for the character. You know, and that's what was missing, perhaps maybe from that film. It was really just a classic cash grab, if you like, from the studio, that Batman and Robin film, you know, but we came a long way since then.
What was missing as well, Stephen, was that go-between, the middleman, and the structure of Warner Brothers. Traditionally, it was just the executives who were interfering with the director's vision and telling them, look, you need to make it this length, you need to do this, we don't like that. Just annoying and disregarding the vision that the writers and the director maybe had for the film. Now we've got Peter Safran and we've got James Gunn, who are creatives and sort of borderline executives in their own right.
And there must be something.
They'll respect the process.
You know, James Gunn and Peter Safran could have just came in and kicked the doors down and said to Matt Reeves, you're done. You know, but they see potential in what he's trying to do here. You know, they could have just scrubbed this, you know, and they wouldn't have got a sequel. But the fact we're talking about it, the fact that the writers are talking about it, it's the wheels are in motion. They are talking about obviously a set date for, is it next year for it to come out?
2027, yeah.
I doubt it very much, but it's good to see them talking about it. It's not being kiboshed by the higher up, you know, the studio execs, the CEO, James Gunn, you know, so he sees the potential in it, because I'm pretty sure James Gunn would have an idea of how he wants Batman to be portrayed in the DCU, you know, and I think we'll eventually get that. But again, it's going back to the sort of taking your time with these storylines. We don't have to introduce Batman to the DCU for many films to come. It doesn't have to come into this at any point.
But we're getting that Batman and the Brave, aren't we? Where it's like Robin. I think it's maybe his son's a little shit. And I think there's something going on there, which is interesting, but we're going to have two Batman characters. Don't want to have to bury another Batman. We're going to have a couple of Batman.
Well, perhaps maybe Sebastian Stan's going to be Robin.
Sebastian I was trying to do a full Spider-Man joke. It just didn't work. Unfortunately, I'm not Matthew Perry, and I will never be Matthew Perry. So I can't tell jokes like that, and I can't be as quick of thought as that. Not at this time. Maybe in another day I can be as sharp. I doubt it though. He was a different gravy entirely. Stephen, October 1st, 2027 is the release date it's set to come out on.
Almost 2 years away, I suppose, isn't it?
But that's a weird date, isn't it? That's not a blockbuster, summer blockbuster. It's not quite award season. That's a tweener date.
It's almost pre-Halloween, John. So it depends where they're going with the film, I suppose.
It's a weird day, isn't it? Yeah, it's a weird time to release a film with this out. I'd have thought it'd have been early year.
Maybe it's going for horror. Maybe the Joker is the villain. You know, it's going to be
horror. Said that. It's going to be something different that I've not explored before. Maybe it is going to be a horror. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
A horror Batman film. Fucking hell, I've not seen it done before. Some would say that Heath Ledger almost broached into horror with some of the things he was getting up to. Certainly Michael Caine would have thought it was a horror on the set when he shot himself. Not literally. Not literally, I have to stress. But Stephen, Samuel Jackson, rumoured to be cast as well. I don't know about that. That feels like a step too far with the MCU. bleed over. I feel like that. I mean, I love Samuel. I think he's a great guy, great actor. I don't know. I'd be worried about Boat in the film at that point. That feels like a character too much.
It's definitely an actor too much, you know, in that sort of caliber. You know, you like to see heavyweights in a film, but at some point it becomes, as you said, bloated, you know. And I'm not really sure about that, to be honest with you.
No.
But no, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, John, but it's good to see that people are talking about this sequel, you know, because it's been very quiet over the last 2-3 years on the direction they're going with this, you know. And I think having that Penguin series sort of filled a hole, you know, for a while, but we really do need to see this world on the big screen once more, because I think that original film really did set the foundations.
Yep. And Stephen, it'd be tragic to drop sort of threads laid down by Paul Dano and obviously Barry Keoghan.
Yeah,
so for that alone, I want to see it continue into its natural conclusion. Those characters, those actors get to tell their story. But Stephen, talking about telling stories, shall we move on to telling the story of Oasis and the reported plan for another tour next year? Next year's going to be a big year. Batman, Oasis, Lord knows what else going on. Recording new songs as well. Potential rumour. Not rumour, it's in an article. Well, it's a fucking rumour because it's not been confirmed by the two men themselves. Let's be honest. Bonehead doesn't have a say. Ken doesn't have a say. It's these two guys here. It's according to a source. That source could be fucking anybody. It could be I don't know, Pete Best of Oasis. What's his name? McCarroll?
Tony
McCarroll. I'm not going to say anything about Tony McCarroll because the last time we spoke about him, I was having little jokes. He's trying to get his foot in the door, and people took it literal. I'm like, don't be ridiculous. It's a fucking joke. You gimp. I'm not being serious. Jesus Christ. Stephen, I mean, they obviously embarked on the tour last year. It was epic. It went around the globe almost. It was a huge success. I think the brothers seem to repair their relationship. Furthermore, through the sort of dual experience of being on a stage together in front of thousands of adoring fans, they sounded great. The musicality of Noel's guitar playing was brilliant. The voice seemed to recover a decent amount with Liam, and there was a huge amount of interest. I don't know whether, in my mind, there would be as much of an interest next year, because it felt like a lightning in a bottle moment. They're back together again. It's almost like The Force Awakens, Star Wars. For Star Wars, that's what it was in a musical sense for Oasis, and just fans in general. It felt like a nostalgia grab. And well, I don't know if you can recapture that interest. I mean, I would fucking go because I didn't get to see them the last time.
I think this has been carefully planned, John, because I mentioned obviously at the start of the show, the other piece of news that came through was obviously the film that's in production at the moment that's to be released later this year, perhaps maybe on Netflix. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but obviously this is based off the 2025 tour, the interviews, the behind the scenes stuff, rehearsals, all that kind of stuff that nobody's seen yet. You know, Oasis are such in a unique position with their comeback or their reunion, if you like, you know, when it was announced that I think it was August 2024 for 2025, wasn't it? You know, and that's all they had to do to promote that. There wasn't much promotion. I think there was maybe an Adidas advert and a couple of other things, but there wasn't much promotion because of the anticipation from the fans was enough. But there was no interviews, there was no chat show interviews, there was nothing, you know, to promote this tour, and it sold out, as we found out, because we didn't get tickets. But that's the thing I'm looking forward to. This is the thing that could bridge the gap between now and 2027, John, and that could keep the interest, you know, for a 2027. You know, I know Liam's on social media, you know, and he's saying bring on 2027. I mean 2026. I mean Happy Easter. You know, people think he's a bit of a clown at times. I don't think he is. He's very calculated. He knows what he's doing. You know, that grabbed attention. I think that tweet was round about the end of last year, wasn't it? The end of December last year. Really just to sort of put a cat.
There's always a degree of truth in what he's tweeting as well.
Yeah, they're
So he
always
knows what
is.
he's doing
Yeah.
by saying bring on 2027. They're definitely going to go out and tour again, Stephen. Just from a purely financial standpoint, it was massively beneficial for them, man. They made a fortune.
Yeah.
There's so many people never get an opportunity. I personally think if you were in the previous gigs, you can fuck off. That you've had your chance. Leave it to other people. That's not the way it's going to work. That's the way it should work. Allows fucking some of the rest of us to get an opportunity to see them.
Yeah.
But Steve, I'm genuinely looking forward to that documentary as well. I think that'll be brilliant. Flying the wall, hopefully, kind of thing, capturing the vibe, the atmosphere before and after. Just being on the stage with them, want to pick their brains and hear the thoughts of them, and just, I mean, I think that'll be absolutely unbelievable watching. And I'm obviously glad that Netflix have got it because I've subscribed to Netflix. So it means I don't have to fucking take out a subscription for something else. Although albeit I've got subscriptions to just about every single streaming platform, it seems. So I don't think I'd have missed out regardless. But it's intriguing that it seems that it's Netflix that are going to be going with it. I don't actually know if they've done any other musical documentaries.
I just want to see it sort of up close and personnel with the two brothers. I think that was one of the things that for people that didn't get to see them live, was just to see the two of them come on stage. I think it was Cardiff, wasn't it? It was the first gig they did. And I think most people were just homing in on that, just seeing the two of them. Are they going to come out opposite ends of the stage? They're not going to interact. That was all the big talk at the time, and they both came out at the same place, same time. Hugs all round, and then kicked in with the music. I thought it was perfect, but I want to see everything that leads up to that, John.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Stephen. I want to see the whole process of them maybe getting together and rehearsing.
Yeah.
And being in a room together doing the shoot. I just want to see these two guys together because regardless of what your thoughts are of either, they're just the absolute blockbuster when they're in a room together. You've seen enough interviews over the last 25, 30 years of these two guys to know that the banter flows, they're as sharp as anything, and you're always going to have a laugh or two in there. And Steve, again, I want to see it following the entire process. That's what a good documentary does. It's almost like you're not there, i.e. the cameraman. We're going to be there, hopefully, seeing the whole thing. And again, we spoke about that at the time. That's just another sort of addition on top of the tour. For people who maybe didn't get an opportunity, you can almost live vicariously through the documentary. In terms of a new album, Steve, what was your thoughts on an album? Because I think you enjoyed Council Skies. I've actually enjoyed Liam's solo output as well. I don't think it's been that bad. It's not on the level I know.
Was it
John Squire?
John Squire, yeah. I mean, John, Council Skies was probably one of the best things that Noel Gallagher's done in so many years. And I'm not saying he's not done anything that's worthwhile, but collectively as an album, it fits. It's certainly going back to old school sound, in the way he used to structure songs. And I loved it, John. I put it on every now and again just in the background while I work away, and it's just a great album. So I never doubt the writing of Noel Gallagher in terms of where they can go. And it's very easy for us to say, well, it didn't really work for the Stone Roses comeback. Oasis are in a different sort of league to the Stone Roses, and that's not a slant on Ian Brown or anyone like that.
No, it's true though.
I love the Stone Roses, but Noel Gallagher's he's a different animal when it comes to music and creating music, and just having that sort of tightness in there. He's a perfectionist when it comes to preparing the songs before the band even come in. He'll track what he thinks the song should be. He'll play all the instruments, and then the band will come in and learn those songs, and obviously add their own sort of little touches to it. But no, he's a very thorough songwriter, artist. So it's intriguing. Is it a risk? Perhaps, but the last couple of Oasis albums, I think it was just burnout more than anything. I think they came to their
natural end, Stephen. Liam's voice was gone. They just lost the drive, the verve to continue on making great music. It happens. You get older, your life experiences change. What drove you to be that sort of? Yeah, exactly. You need to take a break.
I think that both of them have done that, John. You talked about Liam Gallagher. I'm blanking on the name of the band again.
BDI.
BDI, yeah. Which I thought was good. It was almost Oasis-like, I suppose, because biggest, I think maybe 4 out of the 5 were for Oasis, but Noel Gallagher as well reinvented himself with some dance tunes that perhaps maybe didn't
I
go down
fucking love
well.
Black Star Dancing. I absolutely love that song. I think it's a great little tune, and the video was absolutely brilliant. It obviously featured that buffoon.
I liked what was
comedian.
the other one called? Something Mountain High? I can't remember. High Mountain. I can't remember what it's called. It was a great dancing tune as well.
I mean, he's done some really interesting stuff, and you spoke about Council Skies and him and his process of playing all the instruments. I really enjoyed, I think it was like a 7 or 8 part documentary. I watched it on YouTube. It was fascinating to see how the guy goes through the process in the studio of putting a song together. I think you get another guy in to play the solo on a song. It's just really interesting seeing him. And we've seen little snippets where he went back to, I think, the original recording studio. And he's kind of looking about and saying, so this is where it all happened. That's the type of stuff I want to see. I want to see... I spoke about it at length, Stephen, with the Beatles. Just, I mourn for the fact that we didn't get more video footage of those guys in the middle period with stuff to an extent early on, and we've got stuff at the end. But the period when the real magic was happening, like Rubber, I'm not saying there fucking wasn't magic happening throughout, but if like Rubber Soul through to like, maybe the White Album was like the golden era of experimenting, finding new effects and just incredible studio work getting done. We've not really got anything. It's like a black fucking hole.
As George Harrison said, making history. He'd have some more tea, you bastards. Yeah.
I love that. Loved that line. That was great. Did they not lace it with something? Did they not put,
I think it was
amphetamines or something in it? Speed?
Yeah, uppers,
Yeah.
No, I've lost track where we were. John,
talking about documentaries and just the process. If we do get a new album, I want to see the whole thing documented, Stephen. I want to see behind the scenes. I want to see how they're working together. Because we never really got that in the 90s.
I don't think you're going to get into personal though, John, because I don't think we're the type that we'll discuss that phone call, that bridging the sort of gap, mending the sort of relationship. I don't think we'll get anything like that. And to be honest with you, I'm not really looking for that.
No.
I'm just looking forward to the musical side of things, and just seeing that energy in the room again with the brothers, and obviously Bonehead been back in there as well, and Archer as well, and Andy Bell. And just the drummer, I'm blanking on the drummer.
Man at drum for REM,
yeah.
I'm blanking his name as well.
But just seeing that energy in the room again, John. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I don't expect them to get all deep and personal about this and emotional. That's not their makeup. It's definitely not in those. They're very guarded about certain things. And some things should remain private, especially with it being family. But you never know. They might surprise us.
Joey Waronker.
Yeah,
it was a drummer. Stephen, I thought he was great. I have to
fantastic.
say, just the fact that he's got that sort of connection to the likes of REM, it shows you he's got a bit of class.
It's got range.
I think for sure.
I think they knew they had to bring in someone with that range because, as anyone knows, it follows Oasis. They've had quite a few drummers and they've all had different styles. So you bring in a drummer that's got to play from obviously definitely maybe right through to that last album. They've got to try and replicate that style, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. He can, and he can rock like the best of them. To be fair, I thought he'd done a great job.
In terms of the question you asked me, John, do I want to see new material? I'm curious. I'm curious to see new material. Will it affect their legacy? I doubt it very much.
Nah.
I think a lot of waters went under the bridge since 2009, and
Steve, they've always got those early albums which are absolutely iconic. They're some of the best sort of music that was consistent and released in such a short period of time. There's not many bands consistently put out. I mean, it was that good. Noel had a B-side album that was just, I mean, that would be a lot of bands' entire output throughout their entire career, let alone fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the Master Plan, Talk Tonight, Acquiesce, fucking those half a world away.
Yeah.
One of those songs would sustain an act for their entire life. That was the B-sides.
John,
That's how fucking good it was.
You remember obviously watching Oasis in real time and just every release that came out, particularly that first maybe first sort of iteration of the band, you know, the single would come out, and you're like, well, that's better than the last one, you know, and then the next one came out, that's better than the last one.
Stephen, I remember
it
clearly, and I was quite young at the time, but I remember Don't Look Back in Anger being on the radio, and I was aware of them as a kid. Not saying they've been on the level of the Beatles or whatnot, but they're fucking rock and roll royalty, and they deserve a place, and they always have that, regardless of the merits of new albums. And we've seen the likes of Blur do it. We've seen The Verve come back and do an album. It wasn't great. It had that stupid.
It doesn't dent their you know, their past work or anything like that, John. I think we're beyond that now.
But it would just supplement the reunion. It's more than a cash grab tour. If they get back in the studio and produce some content, if some of them are great, and we've already got evidence, like you said, Council Skies, that Noel's certainly still got that writing touch, and he spoke about it at length in many interviews. That's his hobby. He doesn't have any other hobbies. He sits with a guitar when he's bored, and he just continually tries to come up with songs. He's still a relatively young guy. He's got a long, long time still to go. It's not like he's in death's door knocking on the coffin. He's got another fucker. He's got a good stretch ahead of him. He's got life experiences. Why not bring out another album? And with Noel and Liam front and centre, you know you've got an absolute fucking legendary frontman who will take it and make it special. So I'm not averse to it. I'm quite happy to see a new album coming out. And then a tour. And if people hate it, well, you've got about fucking 40 songs you can do on a set list that will rock the absolute you-know-what's off them. I was going to say that, but that felt like a step too far, even for me. That word. I mean, I've said some words. I mean, the C word's a step too far, even for me. Sometimes it slips out. Mostly it doesn't. And the T word, it's just not right, is it? I could say teat. It's got a different vibe to it, hasn't it? Teat, when you say teat, you just think of cows. Rock the teats off them.
Teabag.
Teabag. They've always got all that incredible content, so it doesn't matter. No done it already. He made a fucking career the last 15 years out of playing the older stuff, and then he played the new stuff. And you don't like admit, I know you're not interested in this, but I'm going to do it anyway, bitches. Because I'm no fucking Gallagher. And I wrote it. And you will stay, or you'll not hear the good shit. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good couple of years. If all these things come to fruition, and I'm still alive and kicking, and we've not got like AI taking over and fucking killing us all, then it'll be a good time. But that's going to round it up.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on the Batman Part 2? The new and dangerous update from Matt Tomlinson? Not Matt. Is it Matt? Mattson Tomlin. I mean, that just feels like a made-up name, does it? That just doesn't sound right. Mattson. Who the fuck calls a kid Mattson? Mattson, come up for your dinner. Your dinner's getting cold, Mattson. Mattson Tomlin, you come up here right now. It's such a fucking strange name, isn't it? But he's come out and spoke. He's given us an update. So is Matt Reeves. Do you want to see Samuel L. Jackson joining Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson in this new Batman movie? Share your thoughts on that. Thoughts on Oasis touring in 2027, it looks like, and a new album potentially on the way as well. Share your thoughts on anything at all that we discussed in the comment section below. I'm going to prime end stream because I know how it works on StreamYard now. I don't want to be continually doing Danny Marlin after I've ended the stream, so I'm getting my ducks lined up here and I'm ready to shoot the bastards. Is that what you do with a duck when you're lining up? I don't know. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyes for future content like this. And until the next time, hopefully, if this ends, what's left to be said, thank you for watching us, and bye-bye.